going on to our next question, and this time we start with you, Jamie. This will be a 1-minute question. What is your position on providing busing for students within a 2-mile mandatory distance?
I'm in favor of providing the busing for the students that live in the 2 miles in the South Lake area where I'd be representing the schools and the students. There are a lot of clay roads, there are a lot of dirt roads, there are a lot of intersections, there's major highways they'd have to cross to get to their school. And after the courtesy busing was cut, I saw children crossing with their mother. There was 8 children and their mother crossing Highway 27, 6 lanes. They could have taken a longer way and gone a different route, but I guess they were running late that morning and she didn't want her children to be late for school, so she walked them across 6 lanes of traffic, and that was very heart palpitating for me, so I don't want to see that happen to any of other children. I don't want any accidents to happen. We can prevent them, we can provide busing so they can get to the school safe and get the education they deserve.
The busing question comes down to budgets. We are reimbursed from the state $7 million. Our cost is $14 million. The difference in that $7 million comes directly out of our classroom, out of our students' education. I voted to remove that busing because we had to make some tough cuts. We had an $80 million budget shortfall, and that's what we had to do to make ends meet. I also introduced language to remove the crossing of 6-lane highways, among other things, and we also went to the state legislature to get the state to reimburse us properly for these students. I don't want elementary school students crossing roads any more than anybody else does. But the fact of the matter is that the state sets the rules and we abide by them. I did go to the state and we did lobby for it. We got it through the House, but we could not get it through the Senate. And I do expect it to be coming up again next year, and I hope to be able to go back up and lobby again.
It is my understanding that we're looking to go to a 2-tier bus system next year, which would align our high school and our middle school students to ride the bus together and change some time slots, and then alleviate some of the busing that we have, the cost associated with busing 3 different groups or 3 different schedules, and to revise the amount that each student at each level would walk. So elementary students would go down to just a half a mile, and then 1 mile and 2 miles. So I'm definitely in favor of that. I mean, obviously I have 3 children as well, and they would never walk across some of the roads that I've seen children have to walk across. But I agree with Todd that it comes down to money, and what you can afford is what you have to put in place. So I think the revision of the 2-tier bus system will really help alleviate a lot of the safety concerns that we have for our students, and it will help us fit it within the budget as well. I also think that the definition of the hazardous conditions need to be looked at again, because we do have a lot of those areas in Lake County that would fall under the hazardous condition under our opinion as parents, but not necessarily the legislation. So any lobbying we could do to support that would be something I'd be in favor of.
I obviously don't want to see our students, especially our elementary students, walking to school. But as Todd said, the budget will dictate some things, as well as what we are mandated from the state in terms of regulations. I think where this becomes critical is for us to reach out in partnerships, as Todd has mentioned, that we're trying to work with the state and trying to get those regulations changed. I think it becomes critical now to take a look at the budget, because budget will always be the end of where do we cut, what do we do. And I think sometimes it's best to go back to zero-based budgeting, take a look at what we really need to spend money and what we don't need to spend money on. We have a lot of departments in our administrative offices that maybe need to be taken a look at a little differently, a little closer, to see where we might be able to save money there. But again, keeping that mission in mind about the students and their safety. If there's something at administrative office we don't need and we can cut that budget and put it in the busing, that might be the best way. But again, it's a partnership. You have to take a look, what can you affect on the state and what can you do with the budget, and make sure that our elementary students are not in danger, and then take a look at it from there.
John?
I just wanted to have one of them.
Well, I disagree with what's been said a little bit. The state of Florida does not tell us that we cannot provide transportation for our children that live within the courtesy busing. That's a rule that allows us not to if we choose not to. I think it is completely unacceptable to have a 5-, 6-, 7-year-old child walk 2 miles to school. It's unsafe. We have tropical climate to deal with. We have issues. I don't think any of us in this room would want to walk 2 miles in the morning to go to work and then sit down behind our desk. If we have a $569 million budget and we can't find the monies to transport our children, we're doing something wrong. And I was at Lake County High School the other day, and the average number of students coming out on a bus was 10 and 12. The routing system needs to be changed, and we need to provide transportation for our small children. Thank you.
I play a couple of roles when I answer this question. One, as a dad, I have an 8-year-old as well as a 6-year-old kindergartner and now a 3-year-old. I would not want my students, my own children, to be walking some of those routes. So I'm not sure how I could possibly expect other parents to be in that situation. As a teacher, I started the year with 21 students in my class, never mind the class size amendment says 18, but 21 students, and I have never had so many car riders and students having to stay for aftercare because of that busing issue. The term courtesy busing, I think, is a misnomer. Courtesy is whether or not the bus driver smiles and says hello to you when you get on the bus in the morning. It's safety busing. And 2 miles is completely arbitrary. Is 1 3/4 miles any safer? Absolutely not. You know, if these folks could understand what it's like to try and teach these kids after their whole day has been thrown off, it's impossible. It's not the best situation for them. We need to make better choices so we have the money to spend where it matters.